I got into civil engineering well before I ever made that choice. I grew up in the great town of Indianapolis, home of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So of course there are transportation things and cars and all that kind of stuff that I just grew up around. That was exciting. But really, what happened was my parents had a property outside of Indianapolis in a heavily wooded area. So I grew up going up and down hills. So lots of interesting terrain kinds of things. But playing in the creek was one of my favorite pastimes, right? So digging out channels for the water to flow through sandbars and that thing. I didn't realize it, but I was learning about basic river hydraulics and sediment transport and all these kinds of highfalutin technical things, but I was just playing in it. And I loved it. And then when I was pretty young, my parents got me Legos, of course, but what they really got me was girder and panel. Right? And I had a whole bunch of these sets. In fact, I still have them. This is one of my originals. This is a bridge kit and highway, of course. And these little plastic beams and columns that are there are representative of steel wide flange shapes. I didn't know that back then. They were just cool to play with, and I was building all kinds of things. And that just piqued my interest into construction related things. My dad hated it when we were on the highway. We'd come up against a construction zone. I loved it because I got to see the construction barrels and the flashing lights, and then the equipment and the folks working, and oh man, I just loved all that kind of stuff. Again, I had no idea that was civil engineering until I got into late years of high school, and I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do in college? What am I going to major in? And I was all stressed out about that decision. And the more I started thinking about nature things and big natural forests and how do we preserve them and how do we work with them, so that's some environmental kinds of things, I began to find out, well, civil engineering was related to that, and I got to apply math and physics, which I liked in high school, and some chemistry too. So that just sounded like, hey, that's pretty cool. I should go check that out. And the more I checked it out, the more I liked it. I went to college, started taking classes, and every class I took, I just liked it even more. And so that's how I ended up choosing and then focusing on civil engineering. Um, and then just along the way, then I had co-op jobs and a whole bunch of different ones where I alternated semesters working and then going to school. And everything again just told me, hey, this is a great career, a great profession. Love the kinds of projects that were going on.